All right, this is going to be a lesson on how to play the blues. I'm going to be starting in G. I got a G7 here. I'm going to show you how to run through a little 12-bar blues. So you're saying, what did I do there? All right, well, I got a G7 here, 3-5, 3-4, 3-3. It's like a big major shape, and you just pull out that pinky, and you got that big G7 chord. And then we're gonna come down to, you could come down to a C7, 3-2, 3-1 on those middle strings, but a lot of times you'll make it a little more funky by doing this 7-9 chord, 3-2 and then 3-3-3, with that ring finger getting those bottom three strings. So let's look at that again. G7 to C7, 9, C9 for short, G7, and then if I'm going to do that one again, I might do a little thing. So I got a little 3, 3, and 3 on the D, G, and B strings, and I'm going to hammer into that 4 that's part of that 7 chord, and then I'm kind of going to that C, the 4 chord of G. And you could do a little trill thing like that. And it's cool because it sounds like, you know, you're changing this new note. You're bringing in a minor note to a major note. And you also have a chord ringing out with it if you can get that tall enough to hear all those notes. So let's go through that again. 2, 3, and. And a cool one to do. Take those little 3s and make them up to 5s. Or even these 2 separate ones, 3rd string and 1st string. So 2, 3, and. So you might walk that up. 3, 4, 5 on the A string, the D7. You can go chromatic down on that C chord. And then you go 1 to 4, 1 to 5, 2. So how about you guys think about that G minor pentatonic scale and take a little solo up in that over these chords I'm going to play. And think about how you combine positions, like say there's this lower position that brings you into first position that a lot of people don't use quite enough. 1 to 3 on the big one, 1 to 3 on the A, up to the 5. Now you're in your normal position. And then it's also a little bit easier to negotiate these kind of riffs without having to go to that pinky all the time on the big string. Now think about how this moves up into this higher position. Gives you access to a lot of high notes up there. So we got. Now we could stay in this one position. Here goes a triplets exercise that kind of shows you that whole scale going all the way up the neck. So let's have you guys play that G minor pentatonic. You also have your flat 5th, that 6th fret of the 3rd string, and also it repeats itself, 4th fret of the A string. That's your full blues scale. Here's another cool chord. So you got your D7 going. You got 5, 4, 5, 3 in those middle strings. You go to 5, 4, 3, 3. You got that augmented chord. You can always kind of throw that at the end of like a blues kind of progression type thing. Okay, so G minor pentatonics, what we're doing there, and that was a 12-bar blues. Now let's look at it like an 8-bar blues. 8-bar blues is just quicker. It's like 2, 3, 4, the 4 chord. We're gonna go back to the 4 chord real quick. And then we got the turnaround. 5th bar, 6th bar, 7th bar, 8th bar. Whereas the 12 bar goes to the 4 quick, and then it's gonna stick on this 1 2 times through. And then it starts doing them 2 times through. 2 times. And then we're to the 9th bar, that's our turnaround. And then you got your honky tonk kind of boogie woogie. You kind of mix that honky tonk with that big bar chord. So that 6th fret is a good bend note. The 3 is not, because the 3 would have to bend all the way to the sound of the 6, and that would be kind of crazy to try to do with your first finger unless you're really going for it. But the 6th fret, its next note in the scale is that 8th fret. So a big bend, a big 1-step bend, gets you that nice note quite easily. This next one has that same thing. It's 2 frets up. So whenever there's 2 frets in a pentatonic minor in like a blues scale, whenever it's 2 frets up, it's pretty reachable. Now this one you'd have to bend to the sound of, I'm not even gonna try that really. So you gotta know which ones are the good ones to bend. So that's 6th fret of the 2nd string. Also another one where its next note is 2 frets above. Great bending note. And once again, this one, not so good. 3 frets to its next note. But this 5th fret, 2 frets, so 7th fret. And that note is also down here, this little 3 on the 2nd string. And then you get into these things like these unison bends, where you bend that lower note into the sound of that higher note. Make them ring together, give them a little vibrato, sounds great. Put some distortion on that, you're cooking. Same thing here with that 6 and that 3. So it's good to know, and let's look at the octave up here. So those are the 3 good bend notes in that position. This is that main first position of pentatonic minor. So you got the small string, 2nd string, 3rd string. They're just, the top 2 are on the 18. 3rd string on the 17. Now this is the root note here. So its next note is this one. So you wouldn't want to bend that one either, unless you were really going for it and really knew what you were trying to do. Now this one here, its next one is 2 frets. So you could bend that one. Takes a little more strength to do it with the first finger. So sometimes you might look at a different position and see how you could resolve that into a way that's more comfortable for you. And so it's great to know all these positions. That would be the 5th position of G minor pentatonic. This would be the 1st. And I do like to, when I'm doing picking and stuff, I'm just using my fingers right now, but when I'm using a pick, I try to go down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And when I get to the end, I start over again with another down, because if you were starting a new phrase, that's how you would do it. But it's cool to do it both ways. So let's look at this next position. People finger that a variety of ways. And then we have we're back to that 5th position. So it's good to know how they connect. All right, let's do a quick one in A now. A 1, 2, 3, and. All right, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm Damon Wood. We'll see you soon. Peace out.